Today I'm going to talk about how to vex or how to find the best writer for your website. Had a request couple m- weeks or month back on how do I vet writers, and um, there's not a black and white answer for this. It's really the more you do, the more it's like trying to sharpen a blade. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and then the sharper it gets, right? So I want to create a several series on how to vex or how to make it so that it's a lot easier for you to test a writer to see if they are doing a good job, and then see if you could work with them, um, or in the beginning give them good amount of information so that you could uh, eventually work with them, work with their what how they're used to write, and maybe be able to provide them some guidance. Um, so it really depends on, like, you can't really expect them to just do everything you want them to do without telling them to do it. So you have to work with them. That's the bottom line. Whether you have U.S. writers, you have Filipinos, or Nigerian, or Indian, whatever country, UK, whatever country they're from, you want to be able to adapt to their skills and also provide some guidance. Otherwise, you're just expecting the world, and no one's gonna read your mind on how to do that. So uh, I don't know how long the series is going to be, but I'll try to give you some snippets of what I do for on my side, to make it a lot easier for myself, but also for the writers that I have. I have around 7 writers right now, and then I've been developing how to test the writers and also how to select them individually, and what the process is like. So yeah, if I'm missing anything, is I'm not here to like sit down and write down every detail on how to vex a writer or how to hire one. I'm just gonna, if I have something in my head that I could quickly make a video out of, then I'll do that and put it into the series. So in the beginning, the most important thing that you need when you're working with writers is a grammar tool. You could use Grammarly or Pro Writing Aid, or it could be Hemingway, or there's other new ones out there called, I think, Linguinix, or whatever. Linguini, no, not Linguini, Linguinix. Or, there you go. So that I don't use them, so I can't really tell you. But I'm going to show you how Pro Writing Aid can help, or Grammarly, because they have two pricing points. You could buy the lifetime 399, and that's pretty much it. Or you could do the monthly or the yearly subscriptions. Pro Writing Aid is 79. Grammarly is 72. Let me check. Or $12 a month. $12 a month, or business is 15. Business is something you might want to consider. I have premium, but the style guide and the brand tone is something that you might want to develop. um, and then you'll be able to, like, here is an example. The tone is whatever, or the style guide, the name of a company, or maybe you're doing you have a specific niche, and you have such certain phrase that can be confused. um, like sh- maybe. So, yeah, I'm just typing something. Shower gloves, and then Grammarly could constantly ask you, "Is it shower or shower?" You know, uh, and then that's a bit annoying. So you might want to add that style guide so that it doesn't detect that, or analytics, I guess. To hop, if you work with several writers, you could add users and then have them deal with the grammar issue before it gets to you. So it takes off your time uh, to review an article and things like that. So um, you could use either or. I have both. I'm just really sensitive when it comes to grammar and spelling, because I had a situation where so grammar or spelling, um, it's not a ranking factor, but let's say 80% of your content, so if you have 100 articles and 80% has a lot of grammar issue, uh, Google might start to think, hey, you have poor grammar on your sites, and 80% of your articles have grammar issue. uh, that's a trust issue. We're going to drop you in rankings because you can't write. So that's a big part reason why you want to invest in a grammar tool, unless you're a grammar freak and you know every noun, pronoun, and etc. Um, I don't, and I just don't want to deal with reading every single article. Especially if I'm going to write 50 or 100 articles or 300 articles in a month. I don't have time. I'll just look at the. Okay, so here's an example here. Um, if you click on Google Docs, you can see I have that many uh, issues. And I'll tell the writer, there's a lot of issues. Can you fix it? And if they don't have Grammarly, then they don't know what you're referring to. So you want to either get the business and then have them deal with it, or you just have to do this by yourself. So here it helps Google, not help Google better comprehend, helps Google better comprehend formality, uh, concise, conscious, conciseness, changing, punctuation, and things like that. So you can also use Grammarly on WordPress. So the only thing is it's just kind of hidden right there. I don't have I have a lot of issues. Grammar, and then exactly is an issue, or content previous document that outlines, or that outlines content conciseness. You want to be concise, or you want to be more ex- you want to explain a little bit more. So like there's a lot of stuff here that it helps you kind of be clarify which the writer or things like that. Or here, product is high quality, is of high quality. um, that's, I guess, something that we should remove, better explain ourselves. So here, yeah, all of that. So Google extension helps with WordPress. uh, you also have extension for, no, use I use, yeah, the extension for Google Docs. It works. uh, Pro Writing Aid actually has a lot more stuff within Google Docs that you could use. So it's a little bit more powerful. So here, overuse, consistency check, grammar check. So I could check here and highlights everything. all of the so these are the tools that I use. So going back to vetting your writers, if they have a lot of grammar issue, then you'll be like, that's not something that I want to deal with. Then you move on, right? Uh, and if it's not grammar issue, but they have, in some cases, if you do outsource your writers to other countries outside of U.S., a lot of them are taught English, and they're taught with a formal tone. So you're not gonna have sentences that's more casual or more conversational. So you might read as forementioned or in such a way that it's really formal. It's business class English versus talking to someone, a friend. So if that's an issue, you might be able to detect it with uh, Grammarly. If you look at the adjust goals here, you could do casual, informal, or neutral, and then be able to adjust that tone and then see if Grammarly can help you kind of detect like here. However, editing blah 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 makes sense. You must or it's essential or it's going to modifier like as long as you don't have grammar and if it's more towards vocabulary that's really archaic, you might be able to identify it through Grammarly. Or here's different like all of this restructuring sentences, uh, rephrasing. There's also I disabled. So if you go to settings on Grammarly, customize writing style, I have avoid pronouns in academic writing. I don't want to. I don't know why this is here. Spell out numbers. I don't want to spell out numbers. Spell out zeros through 10. Nope. Spell out order numbers to first. Nope. Uh, use descriptive. This kind of is was a bit annoying, but you could still turn that on. Use variety here. You could change different wording, and things like that. So um, instead of reading every article, you use Grammarly to identify there's a lot of grammar issue. You don't want to use that writer. That's pretty straightforward. You don't want to start reading articles and then reading the article that you had the writer to write, and then you don't want to go through the article, the whole article to review if there are any issues. Because back in before I used Grammarly, I did read a lot of them, and I didn't catch a lot of the grammar issue that Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid mentioned. And sometimes back in the day, they didn't have a lot of that technology. So, but now I'm seeing that there's a lot of stuff there too, and also with Pro Writing Aid, you can also have plagiarism checker. I guess not. And there's some other tools I've tested, but I'm just sticking with Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly. I think those two are good enough. You don't have to use both. You could just use one or the other to really vex your writers. So obviously, you still have to pay your writer to do an article. You could do a 500 or 800 word article and then see how well it comes out, and that's it. Like again, you want to look for any grammar issue. Grammarly is the best tool to really help you identify that. The only thing that you might want to look into is the formal vocabulary that they might have used. Um, but yeah, this tool will save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches that I've came across. Again, if you don't use Grammarly or Pro Writing Aid, you must, because once you start uploading all of the content without doing editing, um, you're gonna have a lot of grammar issue. Even with the best writers, they might have some issues here and there. And once that starts to accumulate, you're at 10% grammar issue on your site, it jumps to 40 or 50. Google identifies that as an issue. Then you start to lose traffic and you're like, what's going on? I need to do technical SEO. I need to change my web hosting provider. I need to do this. I need to do that. And all it took was grammar to drop you in ranking. And you have to now review every single article. You have to pay someone to do the whole editing, or you might have hired an SEO expert to review all the technical issue that you might have thought that it contribute to your rankings dropping, but it was just grammar. And I'm paying 80 $72 for an annual Grammarly premium. I paid $400 on lifetime pro writing it. So that's for $500 and $72 annually. Um, every year you have two, three major core update. And if you're dropping, you then have to hire SEO expert, or you have to spend time on reviewing why you dropped. And then another year goes by and your ranking drops again and again and again. You don't know why, and everything is related to grammar. And you had to fix all of that. Now you have to pay for spend if you have like 500 articles. You have to go through all of that and review it. And you have when you could have reviewed every single article before you upload it to that. So um, this is two birds in one stone. You can vex your writer. If they start doing a lousy job, you could see it on Grammarly. Okay, this is you've been or you could give them a raise once they start to develop the tone and the words and the progress. You could see, okay, there's not a lot of edits that I need to do via Grammarly. Then you could give them a raise, or you keep them on as long as possible. Um, or brand new, if you want to test someone, use Grammarly to identify all the opportunities where you might be able to work with, such as the wording will be the only thing that, like, if they use one word in particular in such a way, if that's so here as a result it's more casual. But if you write here in such a way that it's really formal, and then that's like a pet peeve of mine. So I tell my writer, fix that, and then this is completely gone, then that's it. You have a good writer, and you're kind of measuring the headache-ness working with the writer. So once upon a time, or ask for a mention, or mention all these archaic words that I don't like, you could start eliminating once you see that you everything else here is good. um, and then just finding those small little things, and if you're able to work with them, that's the best ideal thing that you want to do. So I hope this video helped you understand how to reduce the time it takes for you to find a good writer. Again, $72 a year is worth the amount of headache and the time it will take once you start building your website. And if you start to build more articles and hire more people and spend more money, and then all of a sudden all this effort uh, just gets lost because your grammar sucks or all the spelling is not up to standard. You just you're saving a lot yourself. It's like car insurance. Just pay it and don't deal with it after. Once you get a car crash, you just get a new car. That's it. Or have insurance pay for the repairs or whatever. This is car insurance 101. You buy it and don't think of it as, oh, it's too expensive. It's I'll pay $1,000 a year, or I mean it's better than paying an editor uh, $20 or $30 an article to review everything and fix everything. If you don't want to deal with all of this stuff, if you don't want to deal with all of that stuff, use Grammarly or Pro Writing Aid. I use it all the time because I could just quickly see the quality here. Here it says 34, um, and I'm like, okay, I could deal with this. Let's hire you. It's very quick, you know. So uh, if you want to use Grammarly or Pro Writing Aid, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. If you use it, or if you click on it to buy it, I do get a commission. So uh, hopefully you do. If you don't, and if you're a grammar Nazi, then good good for you. I'm not. I don't know what a pronoun or whatever. Grammarly is really great when if you type in he, or if you type in this, it'll detect. Um, yeah, gender 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 neutral. So uh, that's something that we should be focused on. So Grammarly is on top of that. A lot of these new trends and terms, I think. Um, and yeah, so this is the first part series. I hope you like it. If you do, continue to subscribe, continue to watch, continue to leave comments on what kind of videos you want from me. And then the next part of this series, I'm going to talk about uh, content brief, which is the article here. So